Okay, boys and girls, we're back with another stream. I've got a couple of tournaments on coin poker as well as GG poker. Poker was tough in 2025, so it's nice to reset the balance and get after it again. Be slightly wide. We do get rewarded for our wide ranges. Not too sure about my size here. I think we can pull it and we'll see. It's not often that people size this big and fold, but he's thinking about it. It's also not often that I have a weak hand here. Goes all in. Should be way ahead. Wow. Stacks up the aces, that's definitely a tiny bit too wide. Does find the back the flush. Does find it. Voldemar is saying, hi Vinividi. If you don't mind sharing, how did you get started in PLO and what were the key steps that led you to your current results? I got started in PLO when I was very young, like 14, 15 or 16, and back then the games were so soft that it was kind of easy to turn a profit. There was not much material out there that you could study, so it was more about my logic versus anyone else's logic. Nowadays there's a lot of material out there that you can study, so I think that's a great place to start. But it's also very important that you have like a good overall game plan. You think about all the betting lines, putting strong and weak hands everywhere, trying to find places where the population is maybe too aggressive or not aggressive enough or too full heavy, and you can start to try and punish those betting lines. In the end, if you want to become really good, it's very helpful if you get yourself a coach or a mentor or something along those lines. Okay, so on this table, since we have an ace, it's less likely that my opponent has aces, which is a reason not to raise there. Now we turn a full house, and I'm pretty sure we got to lead here quite a bit. Let's find the call. I'm looking king jack still. The fact that it's a club and we're having a club is another reason not to lead there maybe, but as played, we're jamming the river, get a quick call, and my opponent shows up with the king jack. Below is a nice game, I like it, but I also hate it. Lobby Bobby, yeah. Join the club. Join the club. It's a great game, but it's also a tough game. Very swingy, a bit gambly, some people might even say. I mean, there's a lot of skill to it, but definitely have to overcome the swings. Here we have a funny hand. Table number 3. It's a bounty tournament, so I would go pretty crazy since this guy is very short stacked. Let's see how this goes. Up against the queens. Queen on the flop. Queen on the flop. Good luck, sir. Lately, there have been some pretty sick 10-20 PLO 5 cash on coin poker. Did you consider jumping in? So yeah, I have to draw the line somewhere in terms of stakes, and I think I have a pretty obvious and also hard line drawn at 10-20. In a way, you should not draw conclusions on stakes, because if somebody is a big enough loser at 10-20, it can be more profitable than a 25-50 game, but almost always me studying would yield a higher return on investment than playing a 10-20 game. So for that reason, I think I should not consider it, but if I have nothing to do, I did my studies and I see the game running, I would consider hopping in. I heard that there was a guy who was sitting on 50k stacks or something. That's probably what you're referring to. Yeah, the jackpot. I think both jamming and checking is fine. Get a jam and a call. It's a flush draw, a double flush draw, so we're way ahead, 70% in the 3-way pot. Must be nice. Must be nice. TG Lautenschlager is saying, hey, any tips on demerging flop and turn betting ranges? I'm not sure if demerging is a word, but if you're trying to ask me to be more polarized in position, because out of position you're not that polar. It's just finding a lot of very weak hands in position and then very strong hands in position. People tend to also sometimes mistakenly bet the middling range, weak to pair, or hands that do very poorly against the check raise. If any 25% giveaway tonight on my channel, we hit 1 million views. Congrats to Bobby for the 1 million views. He's using my channel now to attract viewers, but that's okay. He deserves it. Small lead here. I think a small bet is fine again. We want to bet a lot of 2 pairs here. We're blocking the queen, so we take away one of the main cards that he can call a big bet against. So raises. Queen 6-7 gets there. 3-6 is unlikely. I think we just call and pray. 6-7. Pretty good hand there to call. Do get another caller, which is kind of nice if we hit a flop with the advantage, especially on the board where you quads. My opponent is drawing dead. So Flop Marley 1 is saying, question, when you enter large field soft PLO tournaments, how much does future gameplay a part when making decisions? Will you pass on spots that are marginally EV plus to realize edge in the future? So I've had a lot of discussions about this actually. So passing on spots that are winning, but winning not by a lot, is something you might want to do, but if you're applying the logic that you have a big edge on the field, then by taking marginal spots and attaining a bigger stack, the edge that you're having on your opponents will amplify with attaining a bigger stack. So there's some discussions I had where people wouldn't 3-bet their aces, or they would deviate from what they're supposed to do because they want to stay in the tournament. And it can be true if you can only buy in once, but if you can buy in multiple times, it's a pretty bad way of approaching tournaments, I think. Even if you can buy in once, I really think you want to go after spots even if they're slightly marginal, because if you do win them and you do get a big stack, you'll be able to force your edge even more against your opponents. So yeah, if the logic is I pass up on this spot because I have a huge edge on my opponents, then you can also apply the logic of if I do win this hand, I'll have an even bigger edge. Andy is playing from the phone. This hand benefits a lot from just putting it in. Checking also completely fine, of course. Get 1 color and an all-in. So easy game has a very tough spot now. Might very well be drawing dead. All in. 43%, 20%. Wow, easy game. It's some white calling there. White calling. The re-entry has closed in the 1K. That's sad. The queens make for a nice limping hand on the button, I think. Opponent bets again, and we have a hand that we could consider calling here, but start the bluff with some future blockers. Flush draw coming in. I think if we bet here and we get raised, it's kind of painful. So that's reason to check. Very tempting to pot bet here, but you might actually have some showdown value. It's a bit suspicious, I would think. Chinese Bobby, not afraid to call. I do limp a bunch of my queens and jacks, so I could easily overbluff here by a little bit. That's fine to fold. Starting with a check. Pick up a bunch of outs on the turn. If you river the nuts, it's hard to have a calling hand here. Blocking the queen and blocking 2 jacks. Sizing down is an option. So it's nice to give your opponent the opportunity to bluff. And he goes for the all-in. blocking the kings. He did do it very quickly. Sorry, boys and girls. Flop. Wow, we're having him in a terrible shape. Let's see if we can take it down this time. We can. Thanks for answering another one, if you don't mind. When you face opponents that underfold on earlier streets, how extremely does that affect your c-bet strategy on the flop? And how does it affect your barreling frequencies when you do decide to c-bet the flop? I mean, to be honest, I haven't done many node-locked sims on people who overcall on the flop. It's quite unlikely that you face people who overcall. It's very hard to do. So yeah, it's if people are overfolding, of course, it's kind of logical what you have to do. When underfolding, I think you just want to not c-bet too much and put some stronger hands there. To be honest, I want to answer your question, but I haven't seen any node-locked sims. Second table where we have kings, strong ones even. Going to 3-bet. Oof, up against the aces. Ooh, okay. Nice little river. We pick up the aces. From what I found out from Holden is that we still have min-open folds there. We have a relatively easy jam. I want to be careful with the jam as well, because it seems like I put no time into thinking what I should be doing, so potentially give some information away. If you can 4-bet pre with something like ace, ace, jack, 9 double suited, how often are you checking a board like 8, 7, 3, let's say SPR is 1.5. Villains always seem to flop huge versus me. Is this just run bet? Yeah, I mean, that's a pretty strong hand you're talking about. 8, 7, 3, I don't think you should consider anything else than just jamming that flop at 1.5 SPR. Action, we'll check it out. Check it out. We get 3-bet. Of course, my opponent is going to be incredibly wide. And again, in these low SPR spots, just please take a little bit of time to think about how much equity you have. You have a good shot in a backdoor flush zone, so at least 25%, 23 to be exact, and probably more. You even have the best made hand at the moment. 60%. You can make some huge mistakes in those low SPR spots. We don't hit our hand, but we did make the right decision. Eva is saying perfect, thanks. Greetings from Lithuania. Greetings back. You mentioned that you don't see people overcall too often. What mistakes do you often see, especially in less studied PLO regs? I don't want to give everything away, but I mean, for instance, back in the day, people were usually under bluffing. I think it's mostly sorted out by the player pool now, but that was something that was definitely going on. And their checking ranges used to be too weak. But nowadays people are, especially at the high stakes, playing closer to what they should be playing. At low stakes it's probably still true that people overfold heavily whenever they're checking, and they're too value heavy when they're betting. But going to 3-bet again, actually. He's shown willingness to fold against 3-bets. That's not great. Dogecoin for life with the lead. We have a pair. We need 35-ish% or something, 34. It's a tournament though, so it's not like he's stacking up total air. I don't think we can fold. 25%. Jesus Christ. If you had to start from scratch today, would you choose to play poker or do something else? That's also a nice question. I mean, probably poker. I had an amazing experience with it. But there's definitely other fields where you can add more to society, or there's also a bit of a ceiling in poker, especially online poker. Yeah, funny hand. I think we just want to raise it up. 8 out of 8. There's 2 big blinds in the middle already. It's a hand that I'm allowed to play according to chip EV. This is a board that my opponent might donk on. So in, boys and girls. If he doesn't, I think we just want to jam. Maximize fold equity, double backdoor. He doesn't interact with this board that much actually. He does find all in, okay. Good like us. Force. Okay, not my day. Defend the king queen 9-8. 9-8. So have some fold equity. I think we're gonna shove into him. It's super whatever. Good call. Let's see. 10-6. Have some outs. It's definitely kind of a close spot. Not necessary. We can check fold as well, but I have to take a stance every now and then. Okay, that's our first cash. So close spot as well. And there's 1, 6, 7. Could be the end of the stream. Quick call. Oof, that's an ace. Okay, boys and girls, it's over. Thanks everyone for joining. Have a nice day and night everyone. Ciao, ciao.